Hello, hello, and welcome to Training Tuesday, where we go through weekly tips and tricks to make your career just a little bit more awesome. This week, we are talking about the power of habits, because habits make the world go round, people. And the truth is, starting stuff can be really challenging, whereas habits are a lot easier. Anyone who has ever restarted a car battery can probably attest to this. And this is also true when it comes to starting any sort of transition in your life, in your career, whatever. So if you're trying to start a side hustle, start a business, change careers, change companies, anything you're trying to do when it comes to your career or life in general, and you're trying to make a transition, habits are a really helpful way to help you get there. And a lot of people are not using them to the way that they could be, to the degree that they could be. Right? So often I hear from people who are starting something and are feeling exhausted by it. They're putting in so much effort and they're feeling really tired, like I'm putting in 110% and I'm using brute force alone trying to force this change, and it's exhausting. A lot of these people are at the place where they feel like they're putting in the effort and they're not getting the results they want, which part of it can be consistency. That's something I've talked about before. I'm happy to talk about again. It's important to make sure you have the right process in place and you have focus steps opposed to all over the place action. But also it's important to have a support system of underlying habits driving you towards reaching those goals you're trying to reach, so that it doesn't have to feel like it's an insane amount of effort all the time. Sometimes it's all about just the small steps that you're taking consistently. Right? So if you want to make a change, I want to remind you that habits can be of use for that. It's not always about the huge leaps. Sometimes it's about the smaller, regular steps that you're doing to drive that change forward. And so if you're not using these effectively, I want to bring this to mind, because the real question is, am I creating this as a lifestyle of change? Am I having habits in place that can help support me in as I kind of try and pursue these goals? Or am I trying to just force it to happen as quickly as possible? And so there are habits that you can start to implement of things like, maybe I'll get up 30 minutes earlier each morning to start working on that side hustle. Maybe I will listen to podcasts and audiobooks on my commute, opposed to using that time to just listen to my favorite true crime podcast. I get it. We've all been there, right? But whatever's coming up for you, I want you to think about what habits you can be implementing to make the change you're trying to make easier, opposed to having to rely on effort alone. And so that's the tip I have for you this week. And the question I have for you is to sit, journal on, think through, whatever, but come up with an answer to this question. What is the one thing I can do this week? What is the one habit that I can implement to make this transition I'm trying to make easier? Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Okay, so ask yourself that. Share with me the habits that you're going to be implementing or what you're going to try and be working on. You can shoot me a direct message. You can drop them in the comments. I'd really love to hear them. Start there, because this is a really great way to try and effectively create change. Begin with that. If you need support in terms of reaching these goals and you feel like I've been putting in the effort and I'm not getting the results I want, reach out to me directly. I'm happy to talk through and kind of try and help you come up with where you've been missing the mark up until now. So feel free to reach out if you need support, but in the meantime, start with that exercise, because I think it's going to be eye-opening for you. And of course, until then, happy working!